Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is General Ravi Shankar, and we are going to talk about a new strategy that China is employing vis-a-vis India. And it takes some time to understand this. It's a very involved talk. You don't want to miss even a second because General Ravi Shankar has it all figured out. He has a very important PowerPoint presentation to present to us as to how China has changed gears. And let's welcome General Ravi Shankar now. This is coming live from both Ganershot and PGurus. General Ravi Shankar, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskar. Thanks a lot, Sree Iyer ji. Nice to be back with you again for a Friday hangout. But like you said, it's a very important, podcast we are doing about China's indirect approach. And at the outset, I must tell you, this issue has come to fore after China stepped back from the 𝗟ac. So when China stepped back from the 𝗟ac, after that Kazan meet and all that, and a lot of people are talking a lot of things. What will China do next? China has done something next. And why is it done? We have to understand as to why China is doing what it has done and how it is going forward, and what do we have to do thereafter. These are the issues. They withdrew from the 𝗟ac, which was the direct approach, and now they come to the indirect approach. Just for a starter, yesterday we got the news that some ISI personnel have landed in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is, they're having a 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏, and we all know that Bangladesh went topsy-turvy 6 months back. And we all know that, Pakistan ISI was instrumental in doing the topsy-turvy. At the, ostensibly, this was done to help USA out. But underneath, my guess is it was done to help China out. At that time, I mentioned, but people said, no, it can't be possible. No, it's all Sree Iyer game. Yeah, it's Sree Iyer game top, but knowing Chinese history, the US history, beyond a point they'll lose interest. They lost interest. Now the game has been taken over by China. The China-Pak combined. So, when it's not only this, you look at everything else and you see a game plan emerging. And that's the game plan I would like to put across to you. I'd like to put across to everyone who's watching this, so that one understands how to handle this whole story. Can I have the slides, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to tell all my viewers, this is not a frivolous presentation. If I was still in the army, I would have given this presentation to whoever is there. I'm giving a presentation to. This is something which I've thought out, and this is my way of looking China's strategy of indirect approach to contain India. And if you see all these arrows which I've put, it looks like a lot of jalebis, colorful jalebis, but there's a lot of issues in this. So let's go over it from the beginning. First and foremost, we must understand the internal pressures which China is facing. Okay, in my way of looking at it, there are 5. The economy is definitely, there's no doubt, the economy is in doldrums. Though all the Chinese bots who will say, no, there's no Chinese, the Chinese economy is all going full, we are manufacturing, and all that nonsense they'll talk. Xi Jinping has got huge troubles in PLA. We know how many chaps have been sacked and corruption and all that. The demographic decline in China is irreversible. Property infrastructure is crumbling. These are all established facts. And whether you like it or not, Tibet and Xinjiang are still unsettled. The way China is dealing with it, it doesn't seem it's part of its own nation. These are the internal pressures which China is and Xi Jinping are facing. What is this anxiety at this point of time? Or rather, this has been building up over the past 3 to 4 months. Xi Jinping faces a hostile and Washington, and Trump, who doesn't know what he's going to do next. So if he doesn't know what he's going to do next, how will China know what he's going to do next? Right? We all know that. Inconsistent. China has got tremendous problems with all its neighbors. And for the past 4 years, it has found that it cannot enforce a military solution on India. And it had come to the point on the LAC where it was all diminishing returns. There were internal pressures and there were pressures from other sides, and China was facing a multi-front scenario. It had to withdraw. The direct option is now hereafter out. It's been claiming sovereignty over Taiwan, but it cannot annex it. And then we all know that US is supporting all countries in China's backyard, plus Quad and AUKUS and Squad. All these contain China's rise. And that's where China is focused now. And PLA is a long way away to be a capable force, because that's one of Xi's troubles also. We all know all this. So where does China go? It still retains its ambition to be a Sinocentric world order. It still wants to, be a technological power, global technological power. It has to have the greatest military on earth. Xi Jinping must establish global domination and displace America. How does it do that? That's a big question. Okay. For that, the answer is India. The answer is suppress India. Very simple. It can't have India around in going all guns. But why India? Right? It should go after USA. It can't take on USA, so it has to take on India, which is the next best competitor. Now, people will say, look, this is an old general who's got no other work but to talk of China and India and USA at 9:30 at night when he should be sleeping. Right? Why is he talking of this? And this is what the Chinese will say. Oh, we don't bother about India. India is no past to us. But that's untrue. Look at this. This is a article from 𝗤𝗓𝗄. 𝗤𝗓𝗄 is a Chinese vernacular website established by someone who went back from Stanford. And it's one of the most popular websites, media websites in China. Completely pro-China and nationalistic. If today's edition you open, 95% is devoted to Washington, US, and Trump, and denigrating them and telling how good China is. But that's not the thing. This is an article which came out a few days back. And this is a translation. It is a translation from Chinese. So the English might not be exactly like what comes out in Hindu. He says, in terms of cognitive space of India, many of us are one-sided or even incomplete. In this article, he says we have been underestimating India for long. Okay. And what does he say? This is his view. He says, China is far away from the Indian Ocean. We can't go and, have influence out there. He's admitting China's deficiency. He says our cargo ships go the most to the Indian Ocean. Their trade, maximum of their trade is through Indian Ocean. And then he says India has made progress in recent years under the leadership of Modi. I'm taking verbatim from that article. Of course, a little of English have changed. India is undoubtedly the most promising country in this century, except for China and United States. You just look at what he's saying. This is the Chinese view. This is not my view. This is from a Chinese website. Hardcore Chinese website. As per him, there are only 3 countries. Top 3. Then he says Germany, Japan, Britain, France, and South Korea have reached their peak. Finished. Russia has a shortage of population. Look at how clear he is in his enunciation. We don't consider it in these terms, but he does. The Chinese do. Okay, Brazil and South Africa are not enterprising. So all these problems that these countries have are something which India doesn't have. Understand? Other countries are not enough to become a world power in terms of resources and population. India, which has a huge population, resources, and market, is more likely to rise. So what does China do with India? That's the million-dollar question, which is in Xi Jinping's mind, and we have to understand that. It can't attack us. I've already 4 years have proven that. So what does it do? Okay, this is from a media website. This is from Global Times by a person called Zhang Jiadong. Now, Zhang Jiadong, this came about 2 months back. Okay, precisely, not 2 months, but 6 months back. It's there, June 24. Now, Zhang Jiadong is in some think tank, I think Shanghai Institute of International Studies. He writes in that. He's a director of the South Asian thing. He says India is a growing power. And he said, what I feel about the Bharat narrative in India. He came to India, saw what he saw in India, and then his pronouncement is that it's a growing power. And in this article, he justifies why. So 6 months back, a think tank guy who's one of their researchers comes, sees, he interacts with a lot of people and says this. And now that other article, I got it about 2-3 days back. It might still be it would be on the net, but I can't take it out because it's all in Chinese. You can do it's a one-shot affair for me. Now, what does he say in this? The fact remains that India's economy is still growing the fastest. People say, no, it grew only at 5.4%. Fine. What did China grow? You think it grew at 5% as they've said? It's very funny. China's economy has said, oh, we've grown 5%, but their stock is going down regularly. If our economy, when it was growing at 8%, our stocks jumped. Our economy has gone down to 5.4% growth. Our stocks have gone down. It's relative to sentiment. But China ka dekho, they say no, our economy has grown to 5% and stocks are going down. And for them, 5% was that great economy growth they had to reach, which is fake actually. Actually, they probably contracted. They'll never tell that. So that's the thing. That's the differential. India has a growing strategic equation with USA. And they are very aware India plus USA outmatch China by a long distance. They're finished. India remains the dominant power in the Indian Ocean region. Whatever you might say, whatever we might agree or not, this is a fact. It's a space come nuclear power. You just put a machine up, a satellite up, 2 satellites up, which have done space docking. We are the only 4th country to do so. India cannot be defeated militarily. This is the realization within China, not me. It is striving for Atmanirbharta, and they talk of it. Most important, India's growth is at China's expense. So what does China do? If India grows, China has to go down. If India-US equation goes up, China is at loss. So what does it do? It has to suppress one of the two. India is the option. It can't suppress US. So it goes for India. Right? How does it do so? It adopts the strategy of indirect approach. Look, normally when we talk of China, we quote Sun Tzu or Confucius. इनके अलावा हमें पता ही नहीं है और कोई तीसरा बंदा है ही नहीं. There's no third Chinese, whom we quote. It's only Sun Tzu and Confucius. The two people just quote what some other fool has written. But my way of looking at it, must read Little Heart. Little Heart was a captain who taught generals in the Second World War. One of the greatest military thinkers of our times. And he's written this book called The Strategy of Indirect Approach. So I read this book and fitted in what China is doing. What does he say? He says the line of natural expectation tends to and usually produce negative results. So what is the line of natural expectation in this? China will attack India. And Chinese have now realized it will produce negative results. As per them, what China was doing consolidates the opponent's equilibrium, and that's what happened. What people don't understand this. It concentrated our equilibrium and displaced China's equilibrium. You have to look at it from different lenses. Then he says in this book, in almost all the decisive campaigns, the dislocation of the enemy's psychological and physical balance has been the vital prelude to a successful attempt at his overthrow. And this is what China is now trying. Psychological and physical balance, dislocation. Of course, they're not going to overthrow you. The idea is to continue, suppress you, whatever it is. We'll just go next. Another quote. The theory of indirect approach operates on the line of least expectation. What do we expect least? China will do that. The aim is not to seek battle, as to seek a strategic situation so advantageous that if it does not of itself produce the decision, its continuation by a battle is sure to achieve this. In other words, dislocation is the aim of the strategy. You can't defeat India. India is too big for China to defeat. Gone are the 62 days. So dislocation. Remember this. I said this 4 years back. You'll remember, Sree Iyer, that I said China will one day go back. It's gone back. And I said nothing will happen. They'll not come back. They have not come back. They tried. Nothing's happened. I don't think China is now going to come back to us, and with all its thing. But what they will do is dislocation. Okay, but is that dislocation from only one line of action? Is the strategy of indirect approach only unidirectional? No, it is multi-directional and it is multi-domain. That is what we have to understand, and that's what I'm going to now. First indirect approach. Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal. And that's what I showed you in the first slide. Those arrows coming all around. Pakistan is being built up into a naval force. Submarines, aircraft, frigates, everything. There are a lot of interaction between the Pakistani naval chief and the air chief. Irrespective of whatever else is happening in Pakistan, their conventional superiority is going up. So that, and the word is out that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 will be a major first overseas command of China, overseas theater command of China. Just think, we have not gone into theaterized system. China is going to have a theater next to you. How indirect it is. Okay? In 𝗏𝗏𝗏, threatening all your lines of communication. We must remember, 60% of your oil and fertilizers come through the Strait of Hormuz. Remember that. Okay. And then, like we told you in the beginning, the ISI chief has gone to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has gone completely other way around. And Bangladesh, their complete military is equipped with Chinese equipment. And now Bangladesh wants Pakistani missiles, weapons, and what have you. So expect trouble in the northeast. It will be there. Pak aided. So is Bangladesh becoming East Pakistan once again? I mean, it just goes to prove. In 71, we took Bangladesh out of Pakistan. But today we are realizing we have not taken Pakistan out of Bangladesh. Okay, we have to understand this story. Pakistan is there. An element of Pakistan never left Bangladesh. And they've always been there, and they're the ones who caused this political coup, and they're the ones who paved the way for Mr. Yunus to come, and now they're paving the way for ISI to operate from there. Is this all? You have this Nepali PM 𝗣𝗙𝗍𝗄𝗏 𝗔𝗏 running to China at the moment he gets elected. Okay, and then look at Sri Lanka. Oh, Sri Lanka, fine. So far he is neutral. He said, I will not take any steps which is detrimental to India. That's okay. But then when he went to China, he came back with a investment of some $3.5 billion for an oil refinery where at Hambantota. Just think, Hambantota, there's an oil refinery, there's a port. People will come there. So all kinds of ships will come there. Something we've always not liked. So indirectly, your security is getting compromised by all these four neighbors. And most by Pakistan and Bangladesh. They'll be the happiest. And we can discuss this later, Sree Iyer ji. We'll get back to this. Let me finish and then we'll get back to this. And then we feel Russia is our friend. It is our friend. But the same Russian foreign minister says India to join Afghan Quad. What is this Afghan Quad? Afghan Quad is Iran, China, Russia, and Pakistan. Just think, Russia expects us to join that. So what is coming out? Russia might be our friend. There's no doubt about it. But it is a double-edged knife. Russia wants you on their side, part of RIC, to counter USA and the West. SCO, BRICS, and this Afghan Quad. So, in a way, you are being forced through Russia, or Russia, which is your trusted friend, is being compromised or weakened, not to talk. So far, the situation is not bad, but the pressure is there from China. Let's not have any doubts about it. So the first line of action was through our neighbors. Second line of action through through Russia. Indirect approach. Does it stop here? No, it doesn't stop here. This is an article from South China Morning Post. It says, closer India-China ties. An unintended consequence of Trump's tariff threats. There is a question mark. So that means whatever Trump is doing, China is going to exploit, because we are both the common recipients of tariffs. And like I said, China's first line of attack is to suppress India, and the second line of attack is to break this partnership. After all, we have a strategic partnership. And I told you in the beginning, India plus USA outmatches China completely. And China is very aware of this. So there will be a wedge in US relations. Tariffs, through tariffs. SFJ, what is SFJ? Panoons. 6 for justice.
6 for justice.
It is 𝗔𝙘𝗍𝗄𝗏 for justice. Okay. So that organization will come into play now, or will be instigated into play. Through whom? Pakistan. Then this immigration business will get blown up. You watch. Though we have said we'll take 17,000 people back and all that, you see the way in the next 3-4 months, the immigration from India into USA will get blown up. As it is being blown up in certain circles. Right? And I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, Mr. Sree Iyer, that these circles which are blowing it up, if you see the thing under, the fire under this whole belly would be Pakistani or Chinese. I have no doubt about it. And then China is completely operating in your neighborhood through Pakistan and externally through Russia. There's nothing better for China than to break this partnership. We might have problems with the with the US partnership, India-US partnership, but that's between India and US, not for China. But okay. Then it wants to suppress India's growth. There are very clear reports that China has put export curbs, right, on Apple components, expertise, EV, all that. China has officially said, don't take technology into India, to all its partners. I can give you their websites. They also are blocking technology and skilled talent from reaching India. They are doing their best to subterfuge the Apple and Foxconn factories in India. This is absolute. Everyone reports it, and it's happening. So what happens? That means relocation of supply chains is being interfered with, which means USA will have to go back to China and dump India. So part of that containment. Then it's weaponizing trade. You see, the trade imbalance has gone up. You need capital goods, intermediate goods, raw materials like API, that is active pharmaceutical ingredients, and X, Y, Z, which you make finished goods and export. So if China now turns the tap off, your export will get killed. And your GDP will go down. You are on the verge. Any day now I expect slow turning off of taps. Things like tunnel boring machines and all, which are required for your infrastructure, not being delivered, despite your putting orders. Okay. They want to enter your market. Why they want to enter? They have to revive their own economy. And if they enter your market, they'll destroy your market. We know that. It has happened before. And they're pressing for it. They want early resumption of flights. This is very interesting. Why they want early resumption of flights? For every 2 flights Air India operates to China, China will operate 10 flights to India. So who will benefit? That's the game plan. So that if you ease travel arrangements, all that, ultimately the idea is to wreck our economy. So there's trade, there's economy, there is manufacturing, there is Russia, there is USA, breaking USA partnership. Then of course you have those 4, in your neighborhood. Does it stop there? We've discussed this. They weaponized water by that dam. Mr. Sree Iyer and I have discussed this in great detail. It's not new. They're keeping the 𝗟𝗏 also alive, the entire political issue of the 𝗟𝗏, because they established 2 counties. In fact, Mr. Sree Iyer and I did one exclusive video on the dam and this business. They're putting pressure there. That's not going to die out. Okay. And then plus every second day you get news of some test being done in high altitude, some new facility being coming up, all that. Okay. What do? This is my answer. Neighborhood first. That's our policy, isn't it? Let's do it. But let's do it with a difference. That's the way I look at it. Wield a stick. Time to wield a stick. Let's be very clear. How they say, no, talk softly, but wield a stick. Carry a big stick. Let's do that. People should be very clear in this neighborhood around us that anything detrimental to India will invite trouble. Guarantee. Just guarantee that to them. And my way of looking at it, which is the weakest link? Bangladesh. It's time for us to focus on Bangladesh. We have to focus on Bangladesh, not only to keep China at bay, but also to suppress Bangladesh, also to this East-West Pakistan kind of a thing coming up. We need to tie up the troublesome fellow, Pakistan. I mean, it's not, look, let me also tell you something. It's not as if we are not doing it. But I'm just giving you, my own way of how do you do it? How do you do your own indirect approach? It's not only Pakistan, China who can do this indirect approach. We can also do this indirect approach. What is indirect to China will be direct to all these fellows. Do that. We need to cajole the fence-sitters. Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Nepal, they're all fence-sitters. Why Nepal is a fence-sitter? Because in 1 year, that government will become unstable and Oli will go. That's the history. 11 to 15 months is any Nepalese government's tenure. Maldives, he's on 50-50, get him here. Sri Lanka, keep reminding him, you do anything detrimental, nothing will happen in, something will happen in Sri Lanka, we'll pull the rug out. Then use friends. Afghanistan, Oman, Seychelles, Mauritius. Afghanistan is important. We've already done the outreach and we've spoken about it. In fact, if you remember, I think last week we did the thing on Afghanistan. Yeah. Afghanistan is important for many reasons. It handles China. Just think, today, in fact, yesterday, there was a Chinese miner who was knocked off in Afghanistan. So Afghans don't like Chinese. TTP doesn't like Chinese in Pakistan. BLA doesn't like Chinese in Pakistan. So can it be more indirect or more direct? You decide whether it's direct or indirect. And we should ensure that Pakistan keeps looking that side. But that's not all. There's more. Yeah. Mr. 𝗦𝗡𝗙𝗥𝗏, who was our ex-foreign secretary, has written a fantastic piece, The Talk and Deter Approach in India Today. Have a look at it. How we should keep talking and deterring China. I mean, we need to understand how to keep China at bay and not interfere in our thing. Everyone talks of this displacement anxiety. What is this displacement anxiety? Strategists say, China causes displacement anxiety to USA. What is this? It put upward pressure on USA. To say, look, I'm going to overtake you. But their behavior, Chinese behavior, tells me that there's a displacement anxiety it is exhibiting in terms with India. All Chinese who are going to see this, they will see it. A lot of them. And there's bots will talk all nonsense. They'll say, oh, no, we don't care of China. But they do care. China cares about India. Otherwise, they won't be doing all this. They're also suffering from this displacement anxiety. We should understand. And so what do? We do this. We sandwich China. As simple as that. People say, no, you can't trust USA. So what if? USA also doesn't trust you. There's no trust in international relations. There's only interests. If it suits my interests to be partners with USA to sandwich China, I must. After all, the same USA partnered with China to finish off Russia once upon a time. Isn't it? I mean, there's nothing sacrosanct. Same Russia and China are now ganging up together to finish off USA. And USA needs India. So as much as we need USA, USA also needs India to sort out China. So let's get this operational. Okay, Trump might be a little erratic. So what if? We've dealt with him, we know. Amongst all the countries, it is only very few countries can handle Mr. Trump, and one of the ours. But I will talk of Trump and Russia and China a little bit, maybe day after in the evening hangout. What are the issues? How that's going to progress? Yeah, I know. 2 days back, or sometime back, my friend Rajiv Narayanan gave his views out of on about Trump with Mr. Sree Iyer. That was quite an entertaining talk.
Yeah.
Yesterday. That was quite a good talk and an entertaining talk also. Because it gave a lot of ideas. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what Rajiv said. But let's see this four-way thing as it's going to evolve. I'll do it day after. But that's day after. So what do? I'll just give one example. This came about 6 months back that Tata Power was to build a manufacturing facility in India and US to provide 425 million in funding. Renewables. Okay. And well, today it's manufacturing. TP Solar is already producing electricity in Tamil Nadu. Renewable energy. There's a partnership on. So why are we seeking FDI from China? Why don't we go and tell people in USA to invest here and make way for that? The day you can get technology will come. What's the hurry in getting technology? Get the investment. And that's happening already, incidentally. It's not only in solar. This is one thing which I've said, but equally there's a lot of investment coming in from Microsoft. AI, technology. I'm going to talk on Monday of this. There's a triangle, AI, technology, AI, space and energy. That's the new technology triangle. And that gives you a huge opportunity. Self and General Dushyant will talk of it on Monday. I'm sure that will come to you live through one of the channels and PGurus also. We'll facilitate. That's going to be a very interesting talk geopolitically. Okay, that fellow is building a dam. But recently, if you remember, there was an earthquake in Tibet. And after that, there were 5 reservoirs in Tibet which have developed problems. So let's start some campaign to ensure he doesn't build his mega dam. Right? Look, for him, it doesn't matter if there's an earthquake there or not. Okay, he'll lose the dam. Earthquake we'll have. Or people will die. There's everyone can die in Tibet from his side. He's got no worries. Han won't die, no, very few will die. Even if people die, it doesn't matter to Xi Jinping. Right? And if there's an earthquake, it affects us, we need to stop it. So there are methods. Things are opening up. So let's do it. This is a report. In Syria, there are Uyghur militants. Okay? And China is concerned about them because Syria, when the action gets over, what will all these trained Uyghurs do? So we should, tell them, go back to Xinjiang and do what you want with the Uyghur problem. And they'll go back and facilitate it and whatever. So let's start playing a game which they are playing, we play. After all, this is right. Yeah, please take it off. I'm okay with this. So I've just given you a few, just a few heads up on what we can do. It's not as if we can't do. What my whole story is, we need to understand this indirect approach. I mean, I had no doubt in my mind when Bangladesh was tumbling down. I mentioned this. The day this happened, I mentioned, look, I see Chinese hand. People would me down. And I still remember I did this video on Jaipur dialogues. There also I was told, no, it can't be China. I said, look, it'll emerge. Don't worry, it'll emerge. And it's emerging now. I have always said from the day one that ISI will get and Pakistan will make a return to Bangladesh. Anyway, there's no return. They were always there. So it's just, right? We know that. We know the problem. So our immediate problem, China, Bangladesh, Pakistan. China, the bigger problem. Pakistan, Bangladesh, the lesser problems. And we know, I mean, there are many methods of doing what we have to do. We have to get down to it. As simple as that. Am I worried? I am. Am I bothered about it? I am. Can I do something about it? I can do a hell of a lot. I'm not a chunmun baby. We can do it. We have, after all, India is a power. And I'm not saying so. He says, no, China, the Chinese chap said that, Germany, Japan, all those people are gone. It's India which is this thing. In this century, India will rise. So let's rise, irrespective of what China says. Right. I thought I put all these points across, and your views, Sree Iyer ji, I'll take it on, and then we can go live to questions.
Yeah, I have. I'm going to come to specific countries that you mentioned. The first one being Bangladesh, which is the easiest one. General Ravi Shankar, I don't know how many of our viewers know this. I'm sure you know this. Is the population of Hindus in Bangladesh is 8%. They contribute 20% to its tax base. I don't see that being leveraged. In the United States, we are beginning to leverage. How many cities have declared Hindu holidays, Hindu festival days as holidays for their schools? That's where it starts. We have done a lot, heck of a lot. We are punching above our weight. I'm proud to say this thing. The Hindus in America have woken up, like, it's like somebody lit a something again on their bottom. People are really pushing hard now. But inside Bangladesh, this is one thing that I'm not yet seeing. And this fact that they have so much prosperity inside also makes them a little bit, what I would call as a bigger brother, you are supposed to help me kind of an expectation, rather than, look, I have all these assets to protect. Tell me, how do I protect myself? I don't see that. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
Look, the way I look at it, the Hindus there were always at risk, right? It's not new. They chose to stay back there. That's okay. But my problem is not Hindus in Bangladesh. You can't leverage them. Let's be very clear. This is a radicalized society, right? In a radicalized society, you can't leverage this minority opinion. That's the first part. But you can make them act. What you're seeing today in Bangladesh for the first time is Bangladeshi Hindus are getting organized in some manner. It's no more that they're not organized. So help them organize. Help them organize through international systems. Help them, from external, not only through India but externally also. So once they start organizing and start questioning, the Bangladeshis should be questioned, and this questioning shouldn't come not from India only. It should come from abroad, and specifically from USA. And when that happens, things will start. That's the only way you can do it. Internal resistance and external pressure has to be put on Bangladesh, and then you will see slight balance happening. But there are larger issues with Bangladesh which we have to resolve, because if you see the reactions coming from Bangladesh, their gentry, and everyone, it is as if Bangladesh is the most important country in the world, and Bangladeshis are the most intelligent people in the world, and the rest are all fools who have to listen to them. Of course, the fact is that they will listen to Pakistanis and Chinese. That's a different story. Yeah.
Sir, next one is about this Arakan army. We spoke about this a couple of episodes back. You had mentioned that Arakan army and Myanmar army, these are all negotiations for the spoils. And that once that spoils amounts are determined, then everything will go back to the way it was. Do you still hold that view?
Look, these are certain leverages. There's no doubt about it. There are certain leverages. On that, I have no doubt. But are these leverages beyond a point? They're not. They're small. The major leverages are with us. Arakan army affects, the Chittagong Hill Tract area. That Bangladesh can choose to ignore, in that place. And but the main thing is somewhere else. That Arakan army is this. So while we might go whatever we have to do with the Arakan army, that area and all, it doesn't affect the rest of the Bangladesh. And the way they are, you have both these factors are small factors in dealing with Bangladesh. We have bigger handles. Like I said, you can wield a better stick, and you don't have to do military action. Military action is out. We can do many more other things, which we have a choice. We have a choice of doing. We can do it directly. You can do it indirectly through, USA. You can do indirectly through Pakistan also. It's not as if we have a choice of not doing anything. We can do it indirectly through China also, incidentally. There are methods.
Perhaps you can elucidate that. I'm curious.
No, I mean, these are things which one can't talk here, right? But I'm sure there are diplomatic methods. There are commercial ways of doing things. Look,
thank you, sir.
What I'm trying to say is this is not the time has gone for us to say ring our hand, wo kya ho gaya, wo karega, wo karega. Yeah, we are let's be big, right? If 4 years you could kick out the Chinese from the LAC, he's gone back. Let him be there. It doesn't matter. He can't do much. If he comes, we can do what we have to do. So even this will do. We shouldn't get worried about it beyond a point. Yeah, there are a lot of problems within our own country. There are a lot of issues which we have to do. We should do. I am not saying no. A lot of weaknesses, because we have to look inwards and see what our problems are. We must attend to them. We must attend to our ethnic problems, societal problems, our manufacturing problems, our governmental issues. All that is a work in progress. But leaving that out, you need to formulate a strategy to handle this indirect approach. That's my take.
Thank you, sir. Let's take a few questions now.
Yeah, please. And take the worst questions which come from China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and all.
Magnet Ranga wants
that will give you the best idea.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. We are not filtering out. I think we are getting a lot of questions. Namaskar. With Trump needling China more and Trump having better relations with Bharat, should Bharat expect more trouble from China? How should Bharat respond, and is that happening?
Yeah, like I told you, this is only the start. There will be more. And I told you how we should respond. There are about 5-6 responses I've given you. I can think of more. But to a large extent, as much as USA needs India to sort out China, we need USA to sort out China. And we also have to tell our Russian friends, look, please stay out of the equation, or tell China to lay off. I mean, that's one thing. It's okay. As much as he pressurizes you, you can pressurize him back. We must remember, in this entire game, over the past 3 years, it's only India which gave unstinted support to Russia. Even China didn't give that kind of support like we've given them politically and diplomatically and economically, all put together. So that is something which need to leverage. So there are a lot of levers. Like I said, if I keep talking, I'll keep bringing levers out. And I'm sure our government is fully aware of this. I might be critical of my government for many things. But beyond the point, our government knows what it is doing.
Next one, please.
Yeah.
Vinay, who wants to know, what is India's approach to contain China? See, the dragon tries this because it is not busy with similar problems. The bully always reveals how to counter him or her.
Look, how do you know China is not doesn't have problems? I told you how many problems China has. There are reports to say that Xi Jinping might be replaced tomorrow. Every second day, there are people who are getting, purged.
Purged. Yeah.
Purged. Yeah, it's as if they've taken a lifelong 𝗪𝗏𝗪. Okay. Oh, you see their economy. I told you their economy is, I don't know where it is. I explained to you in the beginning. Oh, throughout the year, people kept saying their growth rate will be 1 or 2%. Suddenly, they declared 5%. If it actually was 5%, there should have been a big party in China. On the other hand, the Shanghai Composite is going down. It's continuing down. The stimulus is not working. So how do you say that they don't have similar problems? There's road rages going on out there. People are getting killed. One chap drove into some party or someone killed 62 people. Just imagine one guy killing 62 people. And their sense of justice, they just shot him 2 months later. There's no rule. Look, when things go bad in a country like China, they'll go very bad. Okay, we don't know what's happening within China. I've just given you a few. There will be more. Yeah.
Next one, please. Amitesh Behra wants to know, how do you rate our human resource capability as compared to China without considering China's current demography problem?
यार वो तो तुम ऐसे कोई सवाल पूछते हो यार. How can you not consider China's current demography problem? वो तो current है, अभी नहीं, अगले 100 साल के लिए होगा ये. So how can you say that don't consider this problem? Oh, he then becomes something like Pahalwan, and you want to remain puny. Amitesh, come on, this is no question. He doesn't have any problems. If you have a problem, you whitewash him and then you make him into some beam. Let's be very clear. China's demography is useless, and it has been useless not from now, from 2000 onwards. And I have explained this to you people in great detail in Gunnar Short. So how can their human resource capability be better? Yeah. How much cyber attacks are expected from China sponsored? 100% expect them. I mean, let's not have any doubt.
Next one, please. Shrithik Kothari wants to know, sir, what is the best overall strategy for us right now? Being pragmatic, defensive offense, or just being patient and focusing on our growth because our enemies will fall into holes they dug for us?
That's a benign way of looking at it. We should concentrate on our growth. On that, I have no doubt. Okay, let's be very clear. Let's concentrate on our growth. But I told you, neighborhood first. Sort out the neighborhood. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. Sort them out. You sort them out, half of China's indirect approaches go. Then the external. China, USA, Russia. Build on the partnership with USA and keep Russia on your side and tell them don't swing. This two actions itself will, a lot of things. And then you trade with Russia in a different manner. Then focus on how you can get off those API, find alternate sources. I've told you 5-6 of them. There are some of them straight, some of them not straight. They fight in gray zone, you fight in gray zone. After all, gray zone is a zone. It is not only meant for China to fight in gray zone. You can also do the same gray zone to him. So do that. And he'll understand. Let me put one thing. Tibet. Start some story about Tibet. Start some story about the dam. People will pick up, don't worry. Start an information campaign. See, we have to be imaginative in what we are doing. There are many lines of action, which some I have explained, but there are more. Yeah.
Next one, please. Chirantan Saha wants to know, sir, on one hand, China has gone back from India borders, but on the other hand, we see China creating trouble in our neighbors and blocking iPhone to India. Should India look China or USA as a friend or enemy?
Yeah, China is not your friend. Let's be very clear. You call it enemy, adversary, and all, but I'll go with what George Fernandez once said. China is our number one enemy. He said this 20 years back, 24 years back. So I'll go with that. Today, people choose to call it adversary, competitor. You can keep saying what you want. As far as USA is concerned, he's your partner. You have a strategic partnership with them. So where's the doubt? There's no friendship in international affairs. They only alliances, partnership, or competition or adversarial relationship. Period. The only permanent thing in international relations is interest. Permanent interests. We have permanent interests. We should look to them. As simple as that. Yeah.
Next one, please. 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏 wants to know, Trump 2.0 seems to have a softer stance on China. Do you think Trump will pursue a policy of better economic collaboration with China? Will that scenario be in India's interest?
Look, Trump 2.0 seeming to have a softer stance on China is your perception. Not my perception. His NSA and Secretary of State are known Chinese hawks. The Secretary of State has been sanctioned by China. I don't know how China will behave with him. How will they deal with him? They've sanctioned him. Will he go to China or not? Will they deal with him? They don't have a choice. So how can it be that he's softer? Everyone says, no, he's not put, tariffs on Chinese items. When it's tariffing Mexico and tariffing Canada, where is the tariff going? Where is it the cause? Again, take that arrow back, it will go into China. Look, you have to look at Chinese media. I have never seen in the past 1 week, I've never seen a day ever since Trump has been sworn in. After 3 days only, and before that. So many articles about Mr. Trump and USA in any news media. Not even in New York Times, not even in Washington Post. But so many articles have come in China about Trump, good, bad, or ugly. You think they are not worried? Yeah, we are living in a fool's paradise. They're very worried. Believe you me, they're very, very worried. They don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, part of the reason is even Trump doesn't know what's going to happen next. That's a different story. So if he doesn't know what's going to happen next, how will China know? And China is vulnerable today. Yeah.
Next one, please. Saqib Hassan wants to know, India foreign policy always puts India first. I think this is the problem. Sometimes you have to give back, sir.
To whom? To whom? You obviously seem to be from Bangladesh, Saqib Hassan. Okay, we gave you everything. What did you give back to us? We gave you 2,700 lives to give you freedom. What did you give back to us? Okay, so when Bangladesh wants everything first, what have you given? Why should I not put India first? Why should I put Bangladesh first? Okay. Sometime you have to give back. Give back what? What have you given for me to give you back? Please understand. So what do you expect from me? So, that's what I said earlier. People from Bangladesh have a sense of themselves and no one else. First and foremost, learn that you are in a neighborhood which is dominated 95% by India. That you will not survive without India. I'm talking very clear. You will not survive without India. India is your best friend. India can be your worst enemy. When India behaves like that, neither Pakistan nor China will be able to help you. Let me be very clear. But India will not do that. India has better things to do with Bangladesh. So it's up to Bangladesh. Yeah.
Manoj wants to know, does China have a hand in North Korea's ICBM program? Does it also have a hand in Pakistan's ICBM program, which is now attracting?
There's a doubt.
Go ahead, sir.
This is not new. This is from the last century. Will Pak and North Korea do nuclear blackmail against the USA? Of course it will. Did we do a program on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. We spoke, isn't it, about blackmail and nuclear scientists and all that?
Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
This is about TTP taking nuclear scientists hostage.
Yeah.
And then some coming back.
We did last month. So where's the doubt?
Srinivas Kambhampati wants to know why are these countries believing China in spite of not getting any help from China?
भैया वो उनसे पूछना पड़ेगा. Look, you have to understand Pakistan and China. The relationship between Pakistan and China is not new. Pakistan was one of the first countries which recognized the People's Republic of China long back. Pakistan was the country which gave 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗿 to China. Okay? In return for nuclear proliferation. Remember this. Pakistan was the country which played the midwife role between USA and China. Famously, Henry Kissinger came to Pakistan. He didn't attend a dinner or whatever. He said, I have stomach upset. He said this, but that night he went on a trip to China, met Mao, next day came back 24 hours later and appeared and went back to USA. And this entire midwifing of the relationship between USA and China was done by Pakistan. Pakistan is today 80% dependent on Chinese arms and 20% on Turkey for new arms. Old is a different story. So Pakistan will always help get turned towards China. If tomorrow there's a war with Pakistan, China might not come against India. But if tomorrow there's a war with China, Pakistan will definitely attack India. It's known. These are not thing new. Not coming to Bangladesh. I told you earlier, we took Bangladesh out of Pakistan. But we failed in getting Pakistan out of Bangladesh. I'm repeating it. So we have to deal with them. So that Pakistan element in Bangladesh has still got its allegiance with China. You have to read, Bangladesh media to understand how much they want China in. Yeah.
Next one, please. Vishwanathan wants to know, now that President Trump is on the hot seat, can he risk implementing his election promises lest it pulls down the US? As a corollary, does China hold the keys with greater strength now?
China, look, this is something which is going to go on because, look, whatever Trump has said and whatever he has done, it makes USA looks inward. How much will China exploit that is a question mark. How much will USA start looking towards China is also a question mark. There are a lot of uncertainty on what's happening in USA. And contrary to many people who believe so in USA and many other places, Trump is not the fairy godmother. He comes at midnight, puts that wand, and Cinderella turns into a pumpkin type. That story is out. That's all fairy tales. The hard fact of life is everyone is going to continue with the way things are. So things will still go wrong. So China doesn't have greater keys because strength because Trump has come. Nor does Trump have greater things just because he has come. Let things play out. It's too early to see the Trump effect. What's going to be the final fallout?
Next one, please. I can't say the name. I can't read this script. How long China won't take military action against? Which one, sir?
Odia. That's an Odia.
Oh, Odia. Okay. How long China won't take military action against us? Our depleting squadron strength of Air Force is a great concern. No new aircraft.
Look, whatever we have is good enough to sort out China. Don't worry on the LAC. He won't take military action. He can't take military action. यार पूरा आपको बता दिया why he won't take. He's got 4 fronts. If he comes against us, he's vulnerable against Korea. He's vulnerable in Taiwan. He's vulnerable in South China Sea. He's already stretched. What's happening in Korea, in the Korean Peninsula, is dicey for China. Please understand. Many people don't know this. Which is the biggest threat of instability in China? It's got 4 fronts, no? Which is the biggest problem for China? If you understood this, you'll understand China. It's Korea. People don't understand it. In every other place, the mainland is not affected. If he doesn't take Taiwan, the mainland is not affected. If he leaves the South China Sea, the mainland is not affected. If he gets defeated in Tibet, the mainland is not affected. But if instability is there in the Korean Peninsula, tomorrow USA will be sitting on Yalu. That's mainland China. He'll be sitting next to Beijing. Please understand. And that is unstable. There's one fool who's trying to, fire missiles all over. South Korea is in political turmoil. If tomorrow that North Korean tries something and he gets wagged, and they unite, if North and South Korea unite, what happens to China? And please understand, North Korea as it is has gone towards Russia. All North Korean communications are today based on a Russian satellite. Who's fighting for Russia today? North Korean troops. Who's giving ammunition to Russia? North Korea. So China's influence over North Korea is also reduced. Any instability on the Korean Peninsula is real problem for China. That's his first priority. वो छोड़ के इधर हिमालयस में आके थोड़ी ना लड़ेगा वो. इतना मैंने आप लोगों को समझा दिया. Anyway, okay.
Next one, please. Prasad Singh wants to know, sir, what's the best way to make Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan to be in support of India? In recent days, they are more inclined with China.
No, it's except Sri Lanka, except Nepal, the rest are okay. The other 2 are okay. It's only Nepal. Nepal, you have to just, wait till this 𝗘𝗍𝗍 goes. Till then, you twist his tail. There are methods. I wouldn't like to always put them across here. Yeah.
Why are we being so soft on these illegal 100 and 1,000 of Bangladeshis in India, not thrown away out of Bay of Bengal or Bangladesh?
Yeah, you must ask the Home Minister this question because that's his baby. He's made a lot of statements to say, look, I'll throw everyone out and all. I don't know whether he's thrown anyone out. It's been 3 months since those elections were held, or 2 months, whenever. So I think this is a question which Mr. Amit Shah should answer. Yeah.
With that, we come to an end of today's program. Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, whether it is Ganeshot or PGurus, wherever you are watching it. Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. We'll be back again with something interesting like this in a few days' time. Namaskar.
Thank you.